Hey YouTube, I'm back like I said it would be. This guy came in the mail today. Like I told you, I was waiting for the cold steel Recon Tanto in SK5. I got the code button like 4 days before maybe. But anyway, here we are. Now just like the other video, nothing's going to be new in this. Everybody's looked at this, seen it, used it, destroyed it. Not going to do any of that. I'm just going to talk about what I think about it. And if I like it, I don't like it. Okay, so sheath is adequate. You know, it's nothing super awesome, but it's, a lot, different than this guy. Good enough. Good enough. There's no clip on it. This clip is pretty useless though. So let's get it out and talk about it. It's pretty good retention. There we go. There it is. SK5 steel, which is I guess very equivalent to 1080, which I don't mind. I've used 1095 forever in a lot of different stuff. This K-bar, my Emerson over there. But let's talk about the first things I noticed with this handling it, because I expected it. I expected it to be more like its little brother here. And honestly, they're not vastly different in size. The blade's a little longer. The handle's really not much different. Get them lined up pretty good. I mean, effectively, that's not much. Definitely a different profile, but width-wise, the handle's much different, right? And it's a comfortable handle. I like it. Aesthetically, I don't like it as much as this guy, but it's not bad. Massive difference in blade heft. This is like, what is this, I think 5.1 millimeters I measured. This was like 3.3 maybe. And the K-bar over here landed right in between it at like 4.3 or something like that. So yeah, this is, I think it was about 0.7 millimeters thicker than the K-bar. Totally different feeling knife though. For the not really that much different in size, honestly. Handle's the same, like I said. The blade's not really that much different, except for that huge amount of difference in width, a little bit in length. Let's talk about it. It is way heavier. The blade, I mean, I knew all this going in, this isn't anything I'm surprised about, but the balance is like definitely above the cross guard. This balance is like just behind the cross guard. So there's a lot. It's a totally different knife, even though they look similar. I thought they would be closer. My fault. But it's not bad. I don't dislike this. I'm not quite used to it yet, but man, has it got like tip presence. Like blade, it like is like begging. I like to hold it in like a saber grip, sword wise, like not like a hammer grip, but like a handshake saber grip type thing feels best to me. But man, it's got like blade presence, tip presence. Like if you could really whack something. Where like that's why it feels like the saber grip is better, because you can get more extension, where a hammer grip is kind of, you're limited. You know what I mean? It's a lot different. But yeah, the blade presence on it is huge, which is good. I mean, it's good. It's definitely, it's got me where this came a little bit sharper than the Coben, actually. Not much, but just a hair sharper. Got that same awesome, almost exact, like grind. Just everything enlarged a little. Let's pop this old K-bar out. This K-bar has got to be at least near 25 years old. So we can get a good comparison here. Neither of these blades have distal taper. Right, later I think I'll do a video on a blade that does have distal taper, and we'll talk about that. That's kind of a cool economic knife that's not made anymore, unfortunately. So these guys are in a kind of a similar ballpark, but totally different knives, obviously. This one handles, honestly, more like the Coben because it's got kind of a weighted pommel, yet a thinner tang, thinner profile overall. So it's a little less blade presence in this, right? And I like this knife. I've always liked K-bars, but the handle's just a little fat for me. And with this like sealant on it, I think if it was, exposed to like, beach sand and ground up and, really used like you would use this knife, the guard has a little bit of rattle to it too. I did whack the guard one time a little bit. I think that might have loosened the leather or smushed the leather a hair. And with age, I think the leather's dried up a little bit and caused it to have that little buzz. Not that it bothers me, I don't give a shit. It doesn't make that sound unless you're whacking it. But as a fighter, this is a little bit more handle-centric, nimble-wise. Not that this is bad, though. It's just it has, like, if you wanted to slash something with it, it would definitely have a little more authority. So anyway, let's talk about what's a better knife, really. I think the K-bar has always wanted to be put in a video for me because, like, it's kind of like a center point where everybody knows about the K-bar, and they should anyway, and its strengths and weaknesses. It's an awesome knife. K-bars are awesome. A lot of people shit on them because, the tang is really skinny, and it is. They're old, they're bad technology, but they went through, like, since the 1943, I think they were made, and they've gone through until current day, and they're still being used. If you don't abuse them, they're just fine. It's a big hunting knife. It's made for fighting. I mean, you gotta be cognizant of what you're doing, prying, and take care of your knife. It's a knife. It's not an axe. I do have an axe to grind about these people who split wood with knives and shit. I think that's retarded. What's it proving? How much abuse it'll take? If a few people do that, that's cool because you can see how much abuse something will take. But I really don't think there's too much to be learned with everybody doing that, because it's a tool. I don't try to drive fence posts with my tack hammer, or you know what I mean, like try to take a bolt out of a cylinder head with a crowbar. You don't do that, right? You use the tool that you're supposed to. That's what I was always taught. So people know the limitations of this knife. Many wars, it's a good knife. It does its job if it's not abused. This one is a little bit better. It's a little bit generationally improved, I would say, as a fighting knife. Not that they're related in like a bloodline of knives or anything, but it has a little heavier tang. It's a little heavier stock. The steel's really similar. The handle is way simpler, cheaper to produce, simple to make, faster most likely. There's less componentry. A lot of the knives I have, I notice, are these 3-component knives, and I'm going to talk about that, I think, down the road in a different knife video that 3 people in the world will watch. But you got your blade, you got your ferrule or whatever you call that thing, pass through for a lanyard, and you got some rubber juice they squirt in a mold. Super simple, super effective, great for efficiency, money-wise. So what's this got? A bunch of leather rings, a blade, crossguard, pommel, and a pin. A threaded pommel, that's another process. You gotta tighten this guy on, squish everything down, then they drill through and pin it. It's a lot more process. You don't really do any of that with this. So that's why this is a $39 knife. That's super high value, super high value. Better, this is like an $80 knife now, or more probably. It's definitely iconic. It's cool as shit, like everybody. I got a real K-bar, So I mean, that's something else. You're paying for, like, emotional support, whatever the hell you're doing with it. This, super economical, a lot for your money. Just like this. This is actually more expensive than that. The AUS 8 stainless. It's like middle of the road, decent stainless steel. You can get it for a good price, and it's good enough. Just like this. SK5, 1085 or whatever it is, you know, high carbon steel. It's been around for a long time, works good. Yeah, the edge on this, I was pretty impressed. It's definitely hair shaving sharp. Like I said, a hair sharper than the Coben is good enough. You could fluff it up a little with a diamond hone or whatever, get the angle right. You could definitely make it hair better. Do you need to? Nah, not really. Be kind of just spending your time for fun, I guess. But no, it's an awesome knife. Blade heavy. It wants to balance on your index finger. Like that's like where it feels like it wants to be, you know, like there. So it's a lot of knife, weight wise, for handling. Nothing like this. This feels, like I said, like a scalpel in my other video. And this just feels like a K-bar. This is almost neutral. It's like a neutral feeling somehow. This is actually pretty neutral as well. But this is a weird, bigger neutral. This is like a weird, massive drive. But it's good. It's a good setup. It's a good knife. I'll have to handle it a little more. Like I said, I was surprised by the feel of it. Some type of anti-corrosion finish. A little kind of rough. I honestly, looking at the K-bar finish, a little smoother, but I've held a real World War II K-bar before and it had a phosphate finish, and that was like super cool. I like that a lot. I know it's not as good probably, but it's still awesome. It's just different. I like it. You got to keep those oiled though, where this is like some type of epoxy. If you can get a good close-up on the blade here or not, I don't know. Yeah, it's a good piece. Good piece. Definitely worth $39. Like, you can't go wrong with that as like a do-it-all knife. Anyway, that's about that. I'm going to talk about the different knife here probably in the next video I do. One that's not very popular. People don't see it a lot. But it's great. It's a great knife, and we'll talk about it later. Just before I leave, definitely a good deal. I would buy one and another one in a heartbeat. I don't know about the other blade steel this comes in, that San Mai stuff. I didn't really research that. I didn't want to pay that much, but that's probably a pretty badass too. Later.